Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso. Gift magical mornings with Nespresso Virtuo Pop. Compact and stylish, Virtuo Pop is made to meet every morning coffee craving. From espresso to coffee, hot or iced, at the click of a button. And celebrate the season with Nespresso's limited edition coffee flavors. Sweet almond and hibiscus, cinnamon and candied tamarind, and festive double espresso. Magic in the making. Shop the holiday gift collection exclusively at Nespresso.com.
Hey, Jessica Marshall here. Time for another episode of The Eagle, a Times Union podcast. On today's show, we're going to have a little fun with fiber arts, specifically crochet. Something I have tried many times to do, but failed miserably. But that is not true of the guest who will be joining us momentarily. In fact, quite the opposite. Stephen Borzachillo is the brains and the fingers behind Brochet, an online universe where crocheted weaponry wreaks all sorts of hilarious havoc.
I just crocheted this sweet ninja star. Let's test it out. It works! It works!
Borzachillo is going to be a special guest this weekend at the New York State Sheep and Wool Festival in Rhinebeck. He joins Times Union's features writer Katie Kiesling now to talk about his craft.
So curious, when you are meeting somebody new and the icebreaker, what do you do for a living comes up, how do you explain crochet to them?
You know, my whole life has been a really hard explanation. So now my kind of go-to response is like, I'm just really good at being unemployed. With that said, I make crafts and content. You know what I mean? I think that's like, nothing is binary these days, you know, in the best possible way. So like, I'm not just a writer and a producer and a crafty person and a neurodivergent person and, you know, a spokesperson for socio-emotional curriculums and a dude who loves video games. Like I can be all of those things. And like, so the short answer is it's such a difficult question to answer.
So talk to me a little bit more about your journey from first picking up a crochet hook to the world of crochet. If I understand correctly, it started with a pair of slippers and the writer's strike.
You know, something like that. Yeah, that was part of the golf swing. So I had just come off, I'm a victim of the writer's strike. I am still currently a WGA writer, proud to be a part of that union. But yeah, one night after the strike, I needed something to do with my hands that wasn't writing a script. I literally saw a thumbnail for crocheted slippers. They looked really cool. I was like, I want to make like crocheted moccasins or something. Within the next hour or two, I learned how to make scrap t-shirt yarn, which you can do, Katie. And then I whittled a crochet hook out of my girlfriend's chopstick. And then I just kind of fumbled around. And the next day I kind of was hooked. I would say I personally don't love talking about how easily it came to me, right? Because I'm still learning and like the community is welcoming me and teaching me. But within like a week, I started Brochet. I had every frustration of not being able to create from that last year, all the angst I had about wanting to have a voice kind of aligned with this craft. And the idea of like, you know, this entertainment industry kind of turned its back on people like me. And so why not fully embrace this new thing? All of those things kind of coincided in a week together, like really. And so within a week of me learning how to crochet, Brochet was started on TikTok. A few weeks later, between diving into the community, falling in love with the craft, I made a ninja star and threw it at a friend.
as one
You
does.
know?
And that friend is still your friend.
Hundreds of unalivings. He's still my friend.
That is amazing. I would love to hear a little bit more about what drew you to these sort of yarn-based weaponry and, as you put it, the amigurumi kind of style, like in the designs that you've made so far.
I think being crafty and doing things with your hands is such a wonderful therapy for so many different reasons, right? So in hindsight, I've always been drawn to woodwork and painting sculptures and modeling and all those kind of things. Not to mention how I realize now how much movies and comics and video games were like my comfort blanket growing up. And they're
Yeah.
a part of so many of my best memories. And so I don't think it was a choice. It wasn't even it wasn't even conscious, right? Like in learning how to crochet, you learn how to do a beanie, you learn how to do a bucket hat. And then I just looked and was like, wait, well, a lightsaber is kind of just a little tiny beanie for someone with like a really long head, right? If you think about it.
Right,
You,
right.
like that, or like, wait, a triangle is kind of like a star. And then I Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It wasn't intentional at first.
Just a way of combining all of your loves into one one thing. I love it.
Yeah. And then you kind of realize too, yarn is just this kind of medium
Mm.
for me to be able to do the things I want to do, which is like to tell stories and to kind of like nod at the things I love and hopefully bring joy to people. And the coolest part about all of this is like, if you don't think they're funny or you don't like them, like I'm wasting 7 seconds of your life. Like just keep scrolling, you know?
Right, right. I was listening to a podcast that you did with Creative Chronicles, and you're telling the story about how this like young boy who had messaged you and he wanted to crochet, but his dad didn't want him.
Mm,
Did you like when you were starting to put crochet out there, did you have any idea that you would be helping sort of combat a lot of the gender stereotypes in the fiber arts world? Or was that just, even kind of a surprise to you that it was reaching people and introducing them to something that they
sure.
thought that they couldn't do?
I think this opportunity that I have, this platform that I have, and it's a privilege, was totally a byproduct. I think that people who truly want to change and do the most good don't seek that out, right? And so I do think it's landed on me in this wonderful kind of like stars aligning, right? And so I realize how lucky I am and privileged I am to be surrounded by people who just encourage me, right? Like, I had a dad who was, a competitive ballroom dancer and also the captain of his varsity football team, right? So my role model has control of both of their identities kind of thing, right? But I'll tell you this. I think there are so many impressionable young people out there that only have the internet for guidance. And I come, I say this as a joke, right? Like I come from the shadows of Call of Duty, right? Like I come from the darkness. I'm a kid of the internet. I'm a kid of
Yeah.
4chan, right? But I've
Hmm.
chosen the light. And I think like you think about it from that perspective, I just think there needs to be more of people just kind of fearlessly chasing their joy, right? Without stepping on anybody else's. And also like not being afraid to just speak up and be proud of who you are, right? On your point, specifically that little boy story, this whole experience, this last year and a half, the internet has been, unpopular opinion, the most positive, overwhelmingly educational experience for me in the last year and a half. And that's because of crochet. And that's because of this community that we've cultivated together. It's given me this awesome gift to be able to like really hone in my feelings, what I want my opinions to be, all that kind of stuff, right? And so when people kind of hit me with like the gender of it all, I usually qualify with like, I don't like, I personally think we're past like diving in the gender trenches. Like we're probably evolved, but let's live in there for a hot second. Let's play this game. The first crocheters were Vikings, cavemen, and sailors. Gladiators crocheted nets with blades on them to kill each other. Like, you know what I mean? What is the definition of manly to you? They've crocheted, whatever it is. And then also to go the other route, that son whose father is in fear for whatever reason, have that kid crochet two swords and wake that father up, throwing the sword at his feet and saying, I challenge you to a duel. And then tell me if that father is me, like, no, you can't crochet. That's girly. Crochet provides itself so many great opportunities to like do good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have done some utterly insane things, like the guillotine and the replica of Ryan Matthew Lamb's head, the Marge Simpson cosplay. They're delightful. They're so interesting.
Thank you.
Have you come across any idea that you have not been able to translate yet to crochet that just is refusing to be, tied down by yarn?
No, I have some really fun challenges I'm very excited about. I've absolutely set out with expectations that have not been met or have the result turned into something completely different. But it's been really cool. This whole experience, learning how to crochet and also like being pushed to keep making fun things from my brain has really let me kind of trust it working out. And it always does. It kind of always does.
Curious what the transition's been like for you, because like you said, you've started this what, like a year and a half ago, and you have a book out with teaching other people how to make their own throwing stars or make their own lightsabers. Your book and your YouTube tutorials have just been so embraced by the community. I fell down a rabbit hole scrolling through people who tagged you and here's this ninja star I made, or here's this like cool Comic-Con costume that I made inspired by your work. I mean, what's that like for you, that seeing others embrace this world that you've created with such open arms and to start to create things because of you?
Surreal.
Yeah.
And the best part of it, the best part of all of it. I don't know. It's like a direct tap of oxytocin. It's so cool. And then to be able to also interact and engage and like share their experiences. It's incredible. I didn't realize this is kind of why I was so drawn to, entertainment and writing, and storytelling.
Yeah, yeah. And like you said, that those pockets of joy are so needed right now. And you provide it, even if it comes at the expense of chopping off your poor friend's limbs again and again.
It's a win-win situation for us all.
Amazing. I'm curious, and this might be a hard one. I say this as somebody who very much likes to stay in the now, but what's kind of your hope for Brochet and the Yarn Holla universe as it continues to, it seems, grow?
Well, knock on wood, keep it all going. Um, I think, obviously more books. I want to touch on as much fandom as I can. I want to be able to recreate as much cinematic moments as I can. And then honestly, at the end of the day, I want to grow and build and be able to kind of make this as big as I possibly can. I see this as a curriculum for kids in schools potentially. I see this as a demented Mythbusters meets Bill Nye kids show, right? I also see this as an adult comedy series that sees me as a time looper. And the reason I've been unaliving all of these versions of my friends is to save all of the universes. Like there's so many cool opportunities that I don't see it stopping anywhere. And I think yarn is just kind of the starting off point.
This may be corny, but it sounds like got to keep that yarn ball rolling.
It's just corny enough to keep using.
So, what are some of those fandoms and cinematic moments that are bouncing around your head that you want to touch on?
I will say the one that's on the top of my mind is actually the thing we just shot and we released, which is The Mask. I did the dying scene where he gets the Oscar. That one just tickled me so much. I'm really excited to do Revenge of the Stitch. I think Ryan and I are going to have our higher ground Yarnikin Broby-Wan Kenobi moment. And I think we're going to go for like realism, like let's just do this 7-page script line for line and just hit it. I'm going to announce it right now. I'm writing a second book with Page Street.
Insane.
Yeah, you're not just like a friend I'm Zooming with. You're a person. I'm on the record. I'm officially announcing with you for the first time. I'm writing a second book. The first book did so well. This thing is going to be, don't quote me on it, but it's like going to be the unofficial official book on fandom. So I'm going to touch as many things, nerdcore love things that I can.
Thank you for announcing that with me.
This is an exclusive.
That's the top exclusive. Second book coming.
With that said, though, you might have just made a chapter in it. Because I'm like writing the book now. I kind of love the idea of doing, because like I have Negan's barbed wire bat. Like I'm definitely gonna do that for like Walking Dead for the book. Obviously, Brogan, we'll change the name, but I should just do a whole horror section.
I will be keeping an eye out for that section. Do you have a preferred brand or weight of yarn for blood?
I intentionally say the best yarn is the stuff you can get in your hand. That's just it. Like, doesn't matter, $2 yarn, 99-cent yarn, $6 yarn, whatever. Get it in your hand and start crowing. But on that point, I like the cheap acrylic yarns. So I'll drop brand names, right? Crochet.com is actually a really good resource right now, especially with Joanne's closing. But Super Saver, Loops and Threads, Big Twist, all of those are like $3 to $5 a skein, and you can kind of get them anywhere.
Stephen Borzachillo, creator of Crochet, is coming to Rhinebeck this weekend for the New York State Sheep and Wool Festival. You can read more about his work at timesunion.com, and you can also find all of our latest news and features there, as well as on our social channels. That's it for this week. We will be back soon with more from inside the newsroom. The Eagle is a production of the Times Union. It's produced and edited by myself, Jessica Marshall, with help from Erica Smith and the Times Union digital team. Our music is Flyin' by Top Floor. Special thanks to Katie Kiesling for her contribution to this episode. Got questions or comments about this podcast or any of our podcasts at the Times Union? Email us at podcast@timesunion.com.